We are discussing body image today. Welcome to Her Unscripted, episode 6. So, the more I thought about this topic that we're going to discuss, the more in depth I tried to go in terms of my upbringing. Naturally, we all personalize things. So, I started thinking, you know, as a young girl, what impacts us the most? And truly it's the adults around us. I don't think I grew up in your typical household in the 90s. The example I had in terms of body image and awareness, I think was on a different level. My mom was like, my memory of my mom was her waking us up in her sweaty workout outfit after she did like an aerobics class on the TV. And she had woken up at least an hour prior to waking us up for school. And that's when we were living in Palestine. And she really implemented healthy eating habits and always looked really good. So my memory of my mom was she was either pregnant or she looked really, really good and not in an unhealthy way. And I think that was more impactful than I like imagined as I'm like trying to remember where my headspace was at the age of like 6 through, let's say, 15. Um, it's not that she didn't talk to us about it, but she didn't emphasize food so much. We didn't Everything was home cooked. We didn't eat out. There was no like discipline she had to instill, but we followed what her eating habits truly were. And I think that alone was very healthy, like drinking water and eating fruits and home cooked meals and her working out. Like to me, that was normal. But I talked to a lot of girls that are my age and they never saw their mom working out when they were younger. And I remember when we moved to America and I was like in eighth grade and we'd go to the mosque on Saturdays, and all of the Arab women were dressed very nice. And, I always noticed that my mom was very strong. Like she wasn't this skinny, like dragging her feet mom. She was ready to sprint if she needed to. And it makes sense. She gave birth to 8 kids. You have to take care of your body. But the way she did it, I don't think she realizes her taking care of her body the way she did was so healthy for us girls. And we are 6 girls. So you want to be impactful in the healthiest way possible. It's it's sad when young girls, because I witness it, hear their mom talk about their body and not satisfied with themselves. And I've seen it with friends and family. And then these little girls are starting to use the same terms. For example, I look fat, right? I know some people that say that loosely in front of their daughters, and now their daughters are going through puberty and that's exactly how they feel. Or I hate the way I look. And mind you, I've always spoken that way. I just don't have a daughter that I'm influencing at the moment. But I have nieces and I have friends who have daughters, and I think I'm hyper aware because it pisses me off when my friends or family talk about themselves like that and I see their daughters listening. And I think we're just teaching the next generation not to love themselves versus really the way my mom did it in a very, I know it was not intentional, but it was so healthy, where she didn't talk about her body. She encouraged us to work out with her because I used to try to sneak in if I was awake on the weekend and stand in the back and try to do like different moves in aerobics. But she wasn't like forceful, or I don't remember her talking about her body in a negative way. And then like you look at my mom right now and she's just strong. And I realize after going through different phases with my own body, as a woman, as a young female, whether you're in the teen years, 20s, 30s, the concept, it's so important to feel strong because strong gives confidence. It's like a powerful feeling. Like I think of myself when I was truly at my strongest with lifting weights, it gave love to my body, like, and that helped because for some reason I was so critical of my body. I don't know what happened between the time my mom was raising us and my adulthood. I became very critical of my body. It's almost like good that I didn't have a daughter that was listening to my thoughts. Um, but I think of myself when I was the thinnest or the fittest, and I wasn't kind to myself. I didn't appreciate it. And it's sad, like you waste so many years and beautiful moments not appreciating like you in your best condition, but it's the way we wire our brain. I don't think society helps at all. Just like I said, the Arab women that would, or the Muslim women that would be at the mosque were all like very skinny and puny, and versus like the concept of strong, you know, we're not we're not teaching the younger generation to be strong and healthy. And it's rare that girls that are my age grew up in that environment. So luckily now healthy is in, but really, the words we use to describe ourselves as mothers, as aunts, as sisters, as friends do influence the people that we're surrounded by, and especially the younger girls. They look at us in a way that we don't realize the way they look at us. Another thing that is so impactful, and I know we all know this, but we don't actually apply it, not women, not men, but the effect of social media on our brains and our body image is insane. I mean, I work in the aesthetic industry, so I know how much that could impact you. But we're talking on a body level, some things that we don't have control over, like genetics, for example. Not every woman's body is going to be a Coca Cola shape. Um, the concept of hip dips, which I'm someone who notices, so I'm guilty of it. The hip dips are normal. But we have normalized the BBL look, and on on people that we look for fitness inspiration, but it's not real and it's not doable by following their workout routine. Um, and I think I'm not anti plastic surgery. I'm not anti, changing your form, what you're insecure about. I'm anti denying the surgeries and the enhancements that we're doing, because all that does is create insecurities in the younger generation, in our peers, in everyone around us. And other than creating this huge unhealthy body image issue for females, it's creating this unrealistic expectation in the male's brain of what a woman is supposed to look like, when that's not how a woman truly looks like. A woman has all the flaws that come with them. And now the generation that we're in, they look at the perfect female body is actually the one that has the BBL and the lipo around the waistline and the lipo on the thighs and the lipo 360 and the breast augmentation and all this stuff. Men think, oh, that's the perfect body that I want, which doesn't exist. And it's so unhealthy. It creates so much insecurity. I consider myself a confident person, and I have that same insecurity and follow so many different workouts. And guess what? My genes are to have hip dips, and I'm just always going to have it. And it's harder for me to build muscle. And we all have our little storyline. But again, I'm not against enhancements. I'm against the denial of enhancements, because the girls around me that have denied it, that I know for a fact have done it, have made me insecure. And I'm someone who's confident. So I can't imagine an 18-year-old version of myself, a 15-year-old girl who's on Instagram trying to find a workout and sees this girl in this workout outfit that enhances everything as well and is very showy and sexualized. So that's one, you have to look like, like you've had surgery but didn't. You have to have these tight outfits that enhance every part of a woman's body and sexualize it. And if you're not up to standard. And it's just such a corrupt thought process. I love meeting a woman who goes, you give her a compliment and, oh, thanks. I'm actually on peptides. Oh, thank you. I actually had a nose job. Oh, I actually had liposuction. I had a tummy tuck. You know how cool that is? Like, one, you sound like a badass that you're confident enough in yourself and telling me what you had done. So you make sure I don't feel insecure that, oh my God, my stomach doesn't look like hers. And then I'm like, wow, I love how you embraced it instead of being insecure of what you're doing. That even goes along the aesthetic world that I'm in with the Botox and fillers and then weight loss drugs now that are taking over the world. I mean, don't tell me you're in your 30s and 40s, had like three kids, went from being way overweight to 3 months later, you're 30 pounds lighter and you just did it because you cut out carbs. Hey, I got on a GLP-1 and I lost 30 pounds. I did it the healthiest way I could. I leaned in on something to get me to a better space mentally, physically. I just think we need to help each other regain the body image confidence by being honest and raw about what we're actually doing, instead of being this, like, creating this facade of what we all are on the surface. I'm just not into that. I'm over it. I hate it. um I will scream out everything that I've done. I've gotten on a GLP-1 and I lost 35 pounds on it. It was between 30 and then the extra 5 was actually when I got off of it because I hit a ugly stage in my life. I gained weight and I've never been the type of person that gains weight. Couldn't lose it, became so depressed, lost the weight. It brought back my confidence. It made me work out. It made me regulate my eating. And it's the best thing that's happened to me. Um, yes, I get Botox done. I get skincare done. You know, I'm not saying lead every conversation with what you've got done and what procedures you got done, but don't flaunt what you got done and pretend you never got anything done. And I think it's so unhealthy. And especially if you're a girl's girl, you wouldn't do that. If you have daughters, you wouldn't do that. If you have sisters, you wouldn't do that. We need to break this fake image that's on social media and in our brains, because it's been on social media for so long. It's imprinted in our heads. I know the body that I want in my head, and I know it's not achievable when realistic Dina connects with herself unless I were to have surgery. So let's brainwash ourselves or clean out our brain, truly, to remember what it's like to be real and actually authentic, and work on ourselves mentally and internally to get our external goals in the healthiest manner possible. We need to clean out our brains as women. We can't rely on people to make us confident. We need to speak to ourselves nicer. And I'm, again, the guiltiest about speaking to myself nicer. Like, the way they say, like, what you think becomes who you are, or what you believe is actually a thing. So I want to practice. I'm promising that I'm going to practice this, and I'm going to be complimenting myself, or at least picking certain things and giving attention to it internally. But I think I'm gonna call out guys. I think men, um, don't be little boys and give attention to everything your partner is not. Don't give attention to only the sexualized pictures you're seeing. Don't follow the girls that only have a sexual body and that are leading with that. And it's funny because you talk to any guy would tell you, "Oh, she's, I would never be with a girl like that. I would never marry her. I would never." Okay, then why are you showing her attention and making the girls that you would marry or be with feel insecure and like they're not good enough? It starts with giving attention to the wrong image. And you know, I get not every guy is going to have a daughter, but think of your daughters, think of your sisters, think of how you want them to look at themselves. Do you want them to only show cleavage, pictures of their butt, their, everything sexual on social media or when they're out to feel good about themselves? I think that's what I loved about the hijab the most is it shut that part down forcefully. Um, so I mean, men be men. Be smarter with, giving attention to the girls that are shoving their BBL in their faces and on Instagram. Why are you liking all those pictures and not the girl that's dressed nicely? I'm not saying she doesn't look sexy. She just dressed nicely and with a nice scenery. I think we created this environment and now the next generation is stuck with it, and it's harder to solve now. Um, yeah, I think giving attention to all the girls that are lying about their bodies is an issue. Girls, I mean, even girls, we give attention to them. I mean, I look at a girl at the gym and I see her with the perfect shape that I'm like, oh my God, damn, she looks good. And I'll go up to girls and always give them compliments. But actually, I want to give the other girls compliments more, the ones that are working out in an environment where everything is about showing themselves, but are actually covered. Or, they aren't your, procedure looking body. Again, I'm not against procedures. I swear. I'm so pro. I'm pro what makes you feel good and makes you feel real and confident and takes care of whatever, you want. Yeah, I'm not against anything. I'm just against the lying because it's creating unrealistic expectations and unrealistic goals, which really messes up with people's self-esteem. And I just can't tolerate that at all. I do want us to remember that we are perfectly imperfect, all of us in our own way. It truly is driven within our brain and how we view ourselves. So we need to learn to be kind and to remember we have our own little beautiful aspects about us. And it's okay to not love every aspect of your body and yourself. It's okay to get enhancements. It's okay to lean on help. It's okay to change things as long as we're truly being, authentic and real and not doing things in a that's encouraging this world of fakeness, I would say. I do want to shout out my mom for really creating a world in my head as a child that was so healthy in regards to body image because I've never appreciated it or realized it. And I hope that you guys implement that in your own lives to stop focusing so much on how we're perceived in our bodies, especially out loud in front of the younger ones that are actually taking in every word that we're saying. and just be kind to yourself.